On this toy spot, we're going to be looking at Marvel Select Brood and Skrull Special Collector's Edition. And if there's one thing that you should know about me, that's that I'm a sucker for army building sets. And any time that you can get two figures that are so generic, such as a Skrull and a Brood in one pack, it's well worth picking up. Because you can buy hundreds of these. Not that you have money for hundreds of these. I know I certainly don't. But you can get several packs of these, and with them just being generic characters, one great way to build an entire army. And before we actually look at the figures, let's look at the packaging. The packaging features, like I said, both the Skrull and the Brood. Features a picture of both of them down there. And on the side, there's a neat picture of both Brood and Skrull. On the back, just pan this up a bit. It says Brood sculpted by Philip Ramirez, Skrull sculpted by Dave Coano and Philip Ramirez. And then there's a couple of pictures here of pictures of both the Brood as well as the Skrull. It says Marvel Comics X-Men Brood Day of Wrath, Volume 1, Issue 1, 1996. Guess that's the first appearance. And Marvel Comics Fantastic Four Volume 1, Issue number 2, 1962. Other figures in this wave, or other figures available from Marvel Select, we have both the Ghost Rider as well as Mephisto. And the read-up on Brood says, with their home, the Brood world destroyed, the Brood travel the universe in search of the strongest, most powerful entities to serve as hosts for their spawn. An alien sectoid warrior race, the Brood must implant eggs into their living beings until they hatch and fully consume their host, gaining any powers and abilities the host possessed. Because of their society depends on the survival of the fittest, the Brood will continue to stop at nothing in their quest for complete domination and perfect procreation of their kind. The Skrull, on the other hand, says, for millions of years, the extraterrestrial Skrulls roamed the galaxy in search of worlds to conquer. Using their shape-shifting abilities, the Skrulls dominated planet after planet and built an interstellar empire. After entering the Milky Way galaxy, the Skrulls encountered the Kree Empire, and the resulting war has lasted to this day. Amidst all this, the Skrulls' primary objective is domination of Earth itself, and where the Skrulls cannot succeed by force, they have tried to achieve through infiltration of Earth's governments and organizations. To date, every attempt has been thwarted by Earth's heroes and protectors. Brought to you by Diamond Select Toys. Ooh, a great set. Let's not waste any longer. What we'll do is we'll get this set opened up, and we'll get a better look at both the Skrull and the Brood. Stay tuned, guys. Alright, what a glorious set. Now that they're actually out of their package, let's get a better look at the figures. I'll look at first the Skrull, and it's a matter of preference, but personally I think out of the two, the real sell for me is this guy right here, the Brood. But we're going to look at the Skrull first, and a very nice looking Skrull, nicely detailed, certainly a much smaller Skrull. And he's got his little hand weapon here. And to me, let's see if I can actually, it does look like it is actually affixed to his hand. It actually is, yeah, it's actually stuck to his hand. Not necessarily a bad thing, because I mean, if you had a diorama with several of these, you probably will want them with weapons anyways. The coloring is nice. They've done a gray wash on the purple coloring here. And actually, upon closer inspection, it kind of does look like they've used a dark gray body. And so much that they haven't actually put a gray wash on it, but they've actually just put a purple paint over top of the gray. And that not all the purple has cleanly gone on. I don't know if it's deliberate. I mean, it works, but if you look close and you kind of know what you're looking for, it does kind of look like the paint wasn't put on as well as it could be. But again, they could have probably done that deliberate so that you see all these different different gradients of purple. Again, the sculpt is really nice. The head is quite nice on the Skrull as well. And I like his collar, everything else, everything to the figure really is nice. It is really, really nice. In the way of his articulation, he has a ball-jointed head. You can actually have you can have his head posed in different ways. His arm looks to be on a ball joint. There is no articulation in the elbows, and Marvel Select certainly does not have as much articulation as you would come to find in a Marvel Legends, for example. So there is no articulation in the elbows. The hands do rotate. You can spin them back and forth. No articulation at all in the waist, but he has ball-jointed legs. And you can rotate the thigh as well. No articulation in the knee, but the feet are pegged. You can actually bend them back and forth. You can also spin them as well. And unfortunately, that's all you're going to get with the Skrull. And again, it's not really a big deal because, I mean, most people who are probably buying these sets are buying them for army builders and for display purposes. I mean, you can certainly play with them as well. But as this figure is, I probably would buy these more so for display and put these guys in different, different displays with the other heroes. Have a nice little battle scene going here. So that is the Skrull. A nice figure. I give the figure probably about a 6. I mean, it's not personally my favorite of the two sets, but I do really like the Skrull. Alright, let's look at what I think is the real sell of this set. And yeah, again, it's a matter of preference. I know some people would probably say the Skrull is really the sell for this set. But being that in the 90s I grew up with being a huge fan of X-Men, to me, Brood. I mean, if I could get a dozen of these guys and put them on display with X-Men and have them, pose with the X-Men fighting them, kind of thing, that's what I would do. It's a neat looking figure, and yes, one would say, I mean, based on his bio, that the Brood really was an homage or a facsimile, I suppose, of the Xenomorphs, the aliens, I'm sure that we all know. Very similar in design, very similar in the fact that they lay eggs. Now granted, Xenomorphs don't lay eggs, they lay eggs and then the face huggers actually lay the eggs in the human hosts. And then of course, chest bursters, we all know where it goes. But the Brood do share a lot of similarities. I mean, the design, not quite. You would almost think that kind of looks like an alien queen, but a very nice looking figure. I've always been a fan of the Brood, and this figure delivers on all aspects. The coloring is extremely nice. The sculpt is really cool, and I love just everything about this figure. I really, really like. And if for no other reason to get this set, I would say this is the reason to get it right here. Marvel Select, it'd be awesome if they ever released, as far as I know they haven't, but it'd be awesome if they could release a pack that has about 3 or 4 Broods. And I'd grab those babies, get those guys on display. In the way of his articulation, I've talked quite a bit already about this figure. You can move the head back and forth. You can move the head up and down slightly. His arms are on a ball joint. And it does look like... No, actually his mid-arm, actually, or his mid-tentacle, despite looking like it, you can't actually rotate it. At least, no, it's affixed. Nothing in the way of his tail. You would think... I don't even think you can bend the arms, really. They don't seem to be pipe cleaners. But the legs, you can bend, you can rotate the legs, you can bend them. Really, that's about it, though. Not that you really need a lot, because as a display piece, like I said, to get a dozen or so of these against the X-Men, Great, great diorama. I might almost pick up more of these, but these are a bit pricier. I know there was, I think, a Skrull 3-pack that, as far as I know, shared the same mold and same body. There was nothing really different about them, but there was 3 of them. As far as I know, though, there is no other way to get a Brood. If there is, I mean, definitely let me know. But of course, then there's the Build a Brood Queen from the Marvel Legends. But these broods right here, awesome. Awesome. This Brood, I would give a 7.5, and really, in my opinion, the real sell, the real gem of this two pack. Needless to say, though, today we were looking at the Marvel Select, the Skrull, as well as the Brood 2-pack. A set well worth picking up. If for no other reason, if you like the Skrull, get it. But if you like the Brood, definitely worth picking up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for many more toy spots and other spots to come. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.